This was composed by teenagers in Plum Village. All in My Heart.
All in My Heart.
The song number 19. And this also has hands movements. I love to see your hands.
The sun, it shines on my face and on my eyes.
The sun, it shines in my heart. The sun, it shines in my heart.
The river, it flows
From the mountain to my toes. The river flows in my heart. The river flows in my heart.
from
The mountains, the flowers, the
children and the deer. We all love each other. There's a space for everyone in my heart. The trees, they sway and give oxygen every day. The trees, they sway in my heart. The trees, they sway in my heart. The birds, they fly as a school of fish swim by. The animals are all in my heart. The animals are all in my heart. From the mountains, the flowers, the children and the deer, we all love each other. There's a space for everyone in my heart. There's a space for everyone in my heart. There's a home for everyone in my heart.
We will continue with one last song. Okay, big smile. Suggestion from the audience. 27, the song Great Big Smile.
Actually,
And with this song, I wanted to divide the audience into half. To my right and to my left. And to my right was in the first, and the left will respond. And Sister Tiki will do example for left audience, and I will do the right audience. So follow me, and all of you on the left side follow Sister Tiki. You will respond. Don't worry, everything will be all right. I am a bird, a beautiful bird.
a beautiful bird.
I am the sun,
I am the sun,
a golden sun.
the golden sun.
I am the wind,
I am the wind
blowing in,
blowing
Dear beloved teacher, dear brothers and sisters, dear young friends, I know you're here and I'm very happy. Today is my blood brother's birthday, April 4th. He was born in 1972. I don't think my brother has ever listened to any of my Dharma talks. At least not the whole one. So I'm glad you are here to listen to it. It happens like that, you know. So just to send my love and gratitude out there to my beloved brother. I texted him this morning and told him, happy birthday. I'm so grateful for your life. You have helped keep me alive. And you've given me so much love and comfort and joy. Of course, a lot of worries and troubles too. So I'm very grateful for my brother, and I'm grateful for you for being here, and I also see myself and my brother in you as well. So let us sit up beautifully and stable and touch that simple joy that we just experienced with brothers and sisters singing, with you singing along. How happy and joyful we can be in such a simple way. Doesn't take much just to be together and to sing together. Come back to our in-breath and out-breath. And as we breathe in and out, we become aware of the air flowing into our lungs, and then the air exiting our lungs through our mouth, through our nostrils. And we are in touch with the air element in us and all around us, always interacting, exchanging, being each other, the air element in us and all around us. And as we breathe in and out, we can be aware of the water element in us, in every cell of our body, in between the cells, in our blood, in our lymphatic system. The water in us, 2/3 of our body weight is water. And 2/3 of the body of the Mother Earth is water. In touch with the water element in us and all around us. as we continue to follow our in-breath as it is and our out-breath as it is, we become aware of the fire element in us through our body heat, body temperature, heat produced from cellular activities, chemical activities. And we come into contact with the fire element from the sun, sunshine, keeping us warm, being in touch with the fire element in us and all around us. Breathing in and breathing out, we become aware of the earth element in our own body, in our solid organs, and the earth element in Mother Earth. Becoming aware of the earth element inside us and all around us. They are not one, but they are not two separate entities, always interacting, exchanging, being one another, input, output, affecting each other every single moment of our life. We'll enjoy 3 sounds of the bell. Dear beloved Thầy, dear beloved community. Yesterday, Brother Pháp Dung, Brother Embrace talked about being our own boss. So today I will talk about being our own, being a soulmate to Mother Earth. We learn a very important teaching from the Buddha, the teaching on interbeing. How many of you have heard of the word interbeing? Please raise your hands. Oh, I am impressed. Okay. For those of you who have not heard of interbeing, there is a bean, it's called yin-yang bean. Small like this, but somebody made a model for me. So you can see it from afar, okay? So a yin-yang bean has this oblong shape, not entirely round like this. It's half of it is black, and half of the bean is white. And on the black side, there is a white dot. Sometimes there are 2, 3 of them, small white dots. And on the half white, there's a black dot. So it's called a yin-yang bean. So in the black, there is the white, and in the white, there is the black. This is a teaching on interbeing. I call this an interbeing because it's a wonderful illustration, demonstration of the teaching on interbeing. This is in that, and that is in this. Just like we had a short guided meditation, and we see that in us there are the 4 elements of air, water, fire, and earth, right? And it's the same. These elements are in the earth as well, right? There's fire, water, air, and earth. And so in that way, that's interbeing. In the 4 elements in us, they exist in Mother Earth. And in Mother Earth, there also exist the 4 elements that we always exhale the air, right? We slough off our skin cells, our hair cells, everything about us onto Mother Earth. And then, of course, we absorb everything from her. So this is the nature of interbeing. We are not separate entities. We have this notion of a separate self. I am separate from everything else. I am independent. I have nothing to do with my parents, with those people, near me, those people on the other side of the planet, of the earth. We think like that. But if we just give ourselves a moment to look deeply, not even that deeply, we see that that's not the truth. Right? That we affect each other very much so. Whatever we do in our daily life, however we feel in this moment, it affects the person next to us. It affects our relationships, and it affects people on the other side of the planet. So in that way, we learn that in taking care of ourselves, which include the 5 aggregates that our brother talked about this just yesterday. Which are those 5 elements or aggregates that make up us? Do you remember? What are those elements? Yes, first is body, feelings, okay. Good, perceptions, mental formations. They are mental states such as joy or sadness or anger. And then lastly, consciousness. My sister, she's learning English and she was able to name all 5 aggregates. Okay, a shout out to Sister August Moon and to all of you who remember these 5 elements, 5 aggregates. So they make up us. And to take care of these 5 aggregates, it is actually taking care of Mother Earth. Many of us are overwhelmed with a feeling of despair, of doom. Something is happening to the earth. And we may not have a place to inhabit. Very soon, in 50 years, 100 years, a few hundred years, we don't really know. But we feel so burdened and affected by this. And we feel also paralyzed and hopeless. But if we learn that this nature of interbeing is true, and that whatever we do to help ourselves, we are helping those around us, those on the other side of the planet, we are helping Mother Earth, then it will empower us. We become more responsible and more proactive. Does it make sense? Yeah? And so I would like to share with you briefly a sutra, a discourse taught by the Buddha. It's called The 4 Kinds of Persons. And you can find this discourse in the book called The Buddha's Teachings on Social and Communal Harmony. So there are 4 kinds of persons found existing in the world, the Buddha said. What are those 4? The first kind, one who is practicing neither for his own welfare or for the welfare of others. Notice the word practicing. We'll come back to it later. The second kind of people, of person, one who is practicing for the welfare of others, but not for her own welfare or for their own welfare. The third, one who is practicing for his own welfare, but not for the welfare of others. And the Buddha said, actually, the person practicing for his own welfare, but not for the welfare of others, is the more excellent and sublime of the first 3 persons. Can you believe that the Buddha said that? You would think the Buddha would say, go out there and save the world, right? Forget yourself, because you are non-self anyway, right? Forget yourself, go save the world. But no, the Buddha said very clearly here, the person practicing for his own welfare, for her own welfare, but not for the welfare of others, is the more excellent and sublime of the first 3 persons. And of course, the 4th kind of person is the one who takes care of their own welfare and to practice for the welfare of others. That's the most excellent and most sublime. Okay? So this is a very deep teaching. It seems contrary to our popular notion how we should live in the world. We think that we should sacrifice ourselves and do everything to change the world. So that's the MO that we have been ingrained. We should be that way. But because we believe in that, in those notions, but we do not know how to care for ourselves. So in the end, we're not really able to take care of others or the earth, and we're not really taking care of ourselves. So it results in more or less just a lot of despair and confusion and helplessness and hopelessness. Loneliness as well. These are prevalent feelings that many people experience nowadays in the world. Children, teenagers, young adults, and adults. And so to learn to care for our own welfare, knowing that our own welfare is the welfare of others, of Mother Earth, we can be much more positive and proactive. And that to me is to learn to be our own soulmate, to be a soulmate to ourselves first and foremost, so that we can be a soulmate to those around us, those we love, those we care for, and also those that we do not know. But we know that our actions of body, speech, and mind affect them very much so in the present moment and for years to come. So the word soulmate in Vietnamese is tri kỷ. And when I learned the meaning of tri kỷ, it really shook me to the core. And it helped shape my way of looking at myself, at my practice. In Vietnamese, the word tri, T-R-I, tri, it means to remember, to know, to take care of, to master. One word, tri. Kỷ, it means oneself. Most of us, when we think of a tri kỷ, a soulmate, we think of somebody else, right? Somebody who knows you, who loves you unconditionally, who's always there for you. Have you found that person? And if you are lucky enough to have found that person, do you know how to cherish that person? How to nurture that person? Or do you walk away from that person and hurt that person because deep inside you're hurt? You don't know what love is. And so you'd rather walk all over that person and reject that love. So being a soulmate is to know, to remember, to take care, to master ourselves, our body, our feelings, our perceptions, our mental formations, our consciousness at the superficial level and at the deep level. That is to be a soulmate. Let us enjoy a sound of the bell, and let us practice first and foremost to be a soulmate to our breathing. To remember, this is an in-breath, this is an out-breath. To get to know it. Is this in-breath comfortable, light, deep, or is it heavy, uncomfortable, laborious? Get to know it. Be there for it. Be a soulmate to your breathing. Hello, in-breath. Hello, out-breath. I know you're there, and I'm happy and grateful. Hello, body, my dear body. You're still there, taking care of me moment to moment, staying with me through the thick and the thin, always doing your best to heal, transform, so I can get up the next day. May I remember you, get to know you, take good care of you, be your own soulmate. I will even have a bag with all the interbeans on it. Apparently a friend, she saw this bag and she thought of me, so she bought it, saved it until she was able to come to Deer Park last week and gave it to me. So now the interbean can be in the interbean bag. So today I would like to share with you about the 5 faculties and the 5 powers. You notice that in the Buddhist teachings, we like to use numbers, right? The Buddha used numbers, but also his successors also used the numbers so that it was easy for oral transmission and also for rote memorization. So we use numbers a lot, and the Buddha taught about the 5 faculties, which with practice can become the 5 strengths or the 5 powers, as our beloved teacher translated. So what are those 5 faculties? The first one is trust. Tính. The second one is diligence. Tánh. The third one is mindfulness. The fourth one is concentration, niệm định, and the fifth one is insight. 5 faculties. Now that's interesting because the eyes are also referred to as a faculty, căn. Okay? The ears, the nose, the tongue, the body, the mind, those are the 6 faculties. So that we're born with them. And we use them daily. Those 6 sense organs. The Buddha also called these 5 elements as the 5 faculties. It means we are also born with them. They are innate capacities. Trust. Do we have trust? A lot of time, especially in our time, we say we don't feel trust. We don't feel safe. We cannot trust others. We cannot trust ourselves. But actually, we all have trust and faith. The question is it placed in a good place? Who have faith in technology? Raise your hands. Come on, I know all of you. Who have iPhones? Raise your hands. You trust technology. Do you have diligence? Yes, you have diligence. You check your iPhone all the time. Every single moment you have. I see people nowadays when we walk, we hold on to the iPhone like this, okay? You don't even put it in the pocket. You hold it on your hand the whole time of walking meditation. Anywhere you go, you hold. you know what? You will develop arthritis in your fingers. You will develop carpal tunnel syndrome. The natural position of our body, of our joints and muscles, are to relax, not to hold on to something. Okay? So either make a pouch, put them inside, carry on your shoulders, or best, just put them aside. And then use them only when you really need to. So we do have, all of us, we have trust. We trust in weapons of mass destruction, don't we? Every time when we have problems, we are willing to go to war. Yeah? On a big scale, as two countries, between world powers. On a smaller scale, between us and our partners, friends, family members. We do have trust and diligence in exercising those things, in practicing them. The Buddha used the word practice. So we all are practitioners as well, whether we are aware of it or not. But what do we practice? What do we rehearse? What do we water? That is the question. Whether it is beneficial or not so beneficial. Whether it is right or whether it is wrong. That is actually the question. And I learned the Chinese character for right, chánh. Chánh. So the upper article, this one, it's nhất. It means one or oneness. Yeah. And this lower article is a character in itself, and it means stopping. Chỉ. So when it is right diligence, right trust, right mindfulness, right concentration and insight, there is this stopping, the practice of stopping. There is oneness. Oneness of what? Of body and mind. Yeah? So when we talk about using mindfulness in business, in the military, to further our gains, to pursue something, is there stopping in that? Or is there craving and grasping? Does it bring oneness? Does it bring us back to ourselves, to what is true, what is good, what is wholesome? Or does it bring us away from ourselves? We can ask that question. Then we know whether that is beneficial or unbeneficial, whether it's right or wrong. You see, just last week I gave a consultation to a woman. She said, oh, I use mindfulness, I practice breathing so that I don't have to sleep very much. I only need to sleep 2-3 hours a night. So I can work. I work 120 hours a week. I'm the vice president of an engineering, of an engineering company, doing all of these very important projects. You see, she used mindfulness. But she used mindfulness to pursue things externally. And of course, she said it hurt her relationship with her family. She was not able to spend time with her children, who are young teenagers, or her husband, who's actually very supportive and loving of her. And she also said, I cause a lot of stress to my co-workers because I make them work too hard. They see me work hard and they don't dare to take a break. You see? So that is mindfulness, but it's wrong mindfulness. It brings her away from herself, from her family. that diligence only causes more problems instead of solving problems. You see? So we learn that these 5 faculties we all have, but we need to re-examine how we are rehearsing, practicing them, so that they can be beneficial to ourselves and to others, to Mother Earth. Let's go over the first element, which is trust. Yes, it is true that most of us in our lives, when we were children or teenagers, adults, or young adults or adults, there have been things that happened to us. And depending on the severity of the situation, it might have caused us distress or trauma. Trauma is a modern term for suffering. The Buddha used the word ill-being, dis-ease. We use the word suffering. I actually started to learn English when I was 17 years old. And I don't think we use the word, even the word suffering, very much in our society. Do you use the word suffering out there? You don't, right? You're like, I'm depressed, I'm angry, I have anxiety disorder. But we don't use the word suffering. But when we name these symptoms, they are but symptoms. They are the tip of the branches. What's the root of anxiety, of depression, of despair, of loneliness? What is the root of that? That is our deep suffering. It is the trauma, the modern term of suffering, that we experience as individuals and as a human race. We need to address that, you see? And so as we experience suffering or trauma, we lose trust in others. How can a caregiver, how can a parent, how can a relative, a neighbor, a friend, how can another human being can cause such harm to us physically, emotionally, psychologically? How can a person do that to us? So we lose trust and faith in others. But as I practice, I discover much more damaging than that is that we have lost trust and faith in ourselves, in our own capacity to be there for ourselves, to take care of ourselves, to know ourselves. When we go through a suffering, we experience a suffering or a trauma. It's called a trauma because we cannot integrate it into our experience, into our life. So our body may be here, but the mind may be elsewhere, checking out, dissociating. Or we may be running, fighting all the time. So those are the coping mechanisms in response to stress, to trauma. At one point in time, that was done automatically. That was done, and it saved us. We survived. We're still here. But then, because we didn't know how to take better care of ourselves, how to get help, how to integrate that experience in a healthy way, then the coping mechanism for the moment becomes a way of life. It has been rehearsed and it has become a habit. It has become a personality and thus our destiny. So, to come back and to recover, to cultivate this trust, this faith in ourselves, I can practice to be my own soulmate. I can learn to remember my breathing. because your breath tells you what's going on. The Chinese character for breath, tức, this part up here, tự, it means from or itself. And this lower character, it means heart or mind. The breath is from the heart, from the mind. The breath is the heart, the mind itself. Think about it. How do you breathe when you're angry? And how do you breathe when you're sad? What's your breathing pattern like when you're anxious? Or when you're sick? Or one day when we are dying? The breathing pattern reflects the state of the body, the state of the mind. So getting to know our breathing pattern is getting to know our body and mind, what's happening to it. Some of us may not be able to follow the breathing in the beginning because it can be triggering. We may feel suffocated, we may feel very tense. That's okay. Then you choose another part of your body that is more neutral, more pleasant, like your hands, like your feet, like your back, or somewhere in your body. And you focus on that and send love to it. Pay your attention to it. Get to know it. That is also mindfulness. So every part of our body tells us about our body and mind. Your heartbeat tells you when you're beating fast. It tells you a state of mind you're going through. It's beating slow when you're calm and at ease. You see? Your hands, your feet, the way you walk. When you are peaceful, your footsteps will sound quiet and slow. When you're angry, your footsteps will sound very heavy and rushed. So everything about our body helps us to get to remember, to know, and to take good care of ourselves. And day by day, as you practice what you learn from here, anything from mindful breathing to mindful walking, to mindful eating, to loving speech and deep listening. Sitting meditation, you practice deep listening to your body, to your breathing, to your inner child. And you learn to practice loving speech to your body, to your inner child, to yourself. Day by day, the practice helps us to cultivate this trust and faith and confidence in ourselves. Yes, I can be a soulmate to myself, to my body, to my feelings, to my inner child. I will not run away. I will not suppress. I will not judge and criticize, but I will sit here quietly and listen to you. That is very deep, deep faith and trust. And that helps us to cultivate trust and safety in ourselves. You think the safety depends on the external environment? I mean, our autonomic nervous system is always scanning. Am I safe? Am I safe? Am I okay? Am I okay? It's scanning the external environment. But the truth is that most of the time, most of us here, we are very fortunate. We are safe. The external environment is often safe. But the internal environment is actually not safe. The way we think, if we think so negatively, so judgmentally towards ourselves and others, it causes stress to the body and the mind. If we speak harshly towards ourselves and others, we are not safe. You see? So actually, we learn to practice to turn inward and to promote safety from deep within through the way we think, the way we speak, and the way we behave towards ourselves, our body, our feelings, thoughts, perceptions, different mental states. We cultivate trust and safety from deep within. And I've written some calligraphies, like at home in myself, at home in the world. Some I also write, at ease in myself, at ease in the world. Safe in myself, safe in the world. Trust in myself, trust in the world. Let us breathe together with one sound of the bell. Okay, just breathe and touch that moment of quietness, of safety from deep within when the body and mind are in oneness, relaxed, calm and spacious. That is safety, that is trust from deep within. I'm here. I won't abandon you. I won't run away from you. I'm here to listen, to get to know you more. You are safe. I'm taking good care of you. That's what I have learned to tell myself each day with my words, with my thoughts, and with my actions. I have learned to cultivate safety and trust in my own body, my own thoughts and feelings. And thus I feel safe in the world. I feel at ease wherever I go. One time a group of us monastics, we walked to old Chicago. We had a retreat there. And as we were walking, the police came up and he pushed one man who was just walking in front of me right onto the police car. It was like lightning fast. It was amazing. It's kind of scary. And then as I walked further, there were like gang members standing on the sidewalk. And some of my monastic siblings, they were walking really on the edge of the sidewalk, almost like on the street. But I just walk in the middle of the sidewalk. I just walk. And the young men, they're like, hey. I'm like, hello, brother. And then one even bowed to me, and I just bow back. And we just, look at each other, smile, and greeted each other. And when we got back to the temple, a brother asked me, weren't you afraid, sister? Walking like that? And I said, no, I'm not afraid. They are human beings. And when we don't feel safe in ourselves, and we project that outward, or we act upon fear, we trigger defensiveness in others. Just like we're walking, if somebody looks at us a certain way, a slanted way, or walk away from us, it will make us feel hurt, right? It will make us feel defensive. And thus, it's so important to make sure that we feel safe from deep within, so that our perceptions are not colored, are not affected, that we discriminate and judge one another and cause a lot of hurt and pain. Diligence. We talked about being diligent in checking our emails and, all those social media, right? Being very diligent. But we learned that whatever we exercise and practice and rehearse often, they will become our habits and our personality. So we also learn to be more mindful of our diligence, so that it helps brings the element of stopping, of oneness, of bringing us back to ourselves instead of away from ourselves. And, the interbeing, the circle that yesterday Brother Embrace mentioned about this circle with mind consciousness being up here. This is Buddhist psychology, talking about the different levels of our mind, of our consciousness, store consciousness. On the lower level, there are all the seeds in us. Between you and the next person, we all have these seeds. We are no different. But some seeds are stronger in us than in others. It depends on the transmission, the genetic transmission from our parents, from our ancestors. It depends on the way of life we have led that will cause a certain seeds to be stronger. For example, some of us may have the seed of anger much stronger because we rehearse it more. Some of us may have the seed of joy stronger. But we all have these seeds. They are there, dormant, latent in our store consciousness. And as we water them, rehearse them, they will surface, manifest in our mind consciousness. So then we see anger, the sensation of anger, and also the physical, the physical manifestation of anger, such as the way the eyes look, the jaw clenched, the fist we make, etc. It will manifest on the upper level and through our body. And we see that just like, for example, the earth is the same way. We have these seeds, and when you water, it becomes a tree, right? A seed gives rise to a tree, and a tree will give rise to seeds. So they reinforce each other. But not only that, this tree next to it will also affect, this tree will affect the next tree, you see? And this seed A, the seed of joy, will also affect the seed of kindness, of generosity. Seed will also affect seed. Or the seed of discrimination will also affect the other seed, like seed of hatred, of suspicion, of despair, of loneliness. You see? So 4 ways. Seed will affect the manifestation, will affect the tree. The trees will affect the trees, and the seed will affect the seed. So we know that whatever we do, it matters. We cannot say, oh, it doesn't mean anything, or it's just a harmless thing. Actually, everything we do, we say, we think, will sow seeds and will reap the harvest, which will reinforce further of the harvest in the future. So in that way, we learn to practice right diligence. There are 4 kinds of diligence. If the seeds are positive, beneficial, helpful, we want to invite them to come up from the store of consciousness. For example, the seed of hope, of positivity, of generosity. We want to invite it to come up. Yeah? You can smile to somebody you know or you may not know. You may give a positive comment. Yeah? You may, let me help you carry that. Something very simple. You write a letter to a friend, to somebody you've had not such a good relationship, and you say, I'm thinking of you. I hope that you are well. You see, a simple act. You water that seed, you bring it up. And if that positive, wholesome seed is up already, help keep it up there. A child asked our teacher, our beloved Thầy, are all children happy? And Thầy said, are all children aware that they are happy? So when we are happy, if we're not aware, it'll come and go. But when we're happy and we say, this is a happy moment. Oh, how lucky I am to have somebody next to me. How lucky we are to have our brother back. Minh Lực. That waters the seed of happiness, keeps it longer. Keep it stay on the level of mind consciousness a little longer, and we'll treasure each other more. You see? So invite it up and keep it there. But if a seed is not positive, not beneficial, you know it causes you problems. It causes you to separate, to be separated from your loved ones, from yourself. Then do not bring it up. Do not water it through images, through sounds, through thoughts, through bodily actions, through touch. Do not invite it to come up. Nowadays, I read this article recently. Pornography. Now, young people view pornography. Children, they said on the average from the age of 11 to 13, they already start viewing pornography, boys and girls. That is watering the seed of extreme suffering in us. It will bring so many problems. When you objectify, you see a human being as a sexual object. When you use another human being as a sexual object. When you use up so much of your life force, your life energy towards that, then there will be a lot of suffering in your physical health, mental health, in your relationships. So in that way, we learn to mind very much what we water and what we keep alive and active on the level of mind consciousness. And there is a Chinese word for this. Nhàn. This is nhàn, means leisure, ease. Yeah? 2 doors. And in between is the moon. That's leisure, ease. This next character also has the 2 doors. Okay? But in between the 2 doors is not the moon, but you know what? It's the market. And so this makes this character, it means chaos. Isn't that amazing? Yes. So the two doors of your eyes, two nostrils, your mouth, yeah, your body, your thoughts. What do you bring into? Do you bring the moon? You bring something wholesome, simple, beautiful, kind, loving, or do you bring the market into it? And if you bring the market, don't wonder why your life is chaotic, that there's such drama and trauma in your life. You see? So whatever we had experienced as children, as young people, and it was out of our control, now we need to be aware that actually we have control. We need to learn to take good care of ourselves. None of us wants anybody to boss us around. Yesterday, I saw most of you raise your hands and saying, you don't want anybody to be your boss. You want to be your own boss, right? But the truth is that we're actually bossed around all the time by our own wrong views, wrong attitudes, by our own habits. Oh, let's not do anything today. I'm too depressed. Oh, I don't want to do anything. I'm no good. I'm useless. You know, there's just no point of making an effort, right? Yeah, we're being bossed around by those kind of views, so entrenched in us, bossed around by our own negative coping mechanism. And we succumb to them. And we think we choose them. We don't choose them. We're just simply victims of those habits in ourselves. And so it's not easy to be your own boss. If you get a chance to be your own boss, which you do, see what you do with it, with that power. One time, my teacher, I came to visit him after a year of not seeing him, and he came to the US to have a teaching tour. The moment I walked in his hut, he looked at me and smiled, and he said, "My child, are we rebels?" He asked me that in English. And immediately I thought of the movie Rebels Without a Cause. You remember that movie? Maybe not, you're too young. James Dean was the main character, James Dean. So rebels without a cause. So when he asked me, "My child, are we rebels?" I smiled and I said, "Yes, we are rebels with a cause." So another way of saying be your own boss is to say be a rebel. Be a rebel to your own mental states. Be a rebel to your own thoughts and perceptions, to your own habits. Do you dare to be a rebel in that way? Because that is freedom when we learn to be a rebel to those tendencies so deeply ingrained and entrenched in us. That is the true rebel. Okay. Let us enjoy one sound of the bell. So we have gone through trust, diligence. We talked about mindfulness as the energy of awareness, of discernment, knowing if it is something wholesome, beneficial, or not so wholesome and not so beneficial to ourselves and others. And the the Chinese character for mindfulness, actually, the upper part it means now, and the lower part, it means mind. Mindfulness means a now mind. Nghiem and Tam, now mind. When we practice being in this very moment, this morning we learned, we listened to the sutra, knowing the better way to live alone, right? One who pursues the past, one who pursues the future, one who is caught by the present is the one who doesn't know how to live alone. So living alone doesn't mean that you don't have a neighbor or a roommate or a partner next to you. It's not that. Living alone is actually to be free from within and not always be accompanied by or be bossed around by your own past, fear about the past, regrets about the past, or fear about the future, or by the projects, the thoughts that are overwhelming right in this moment. That is not being alone. So the now mind helps us to be aware of this moment as it is, with equanimity, with spaciousness. We are aware. And true to the teaching of interbeing, in the present moment, there is the past. Yeah? We are who we are today because of the past. And in the present moment, there is the future. The present moment is the foundation of the future. But the difference is that if we learn to live this present moment and to do our best to care for it, then this is the one moment that we have true control, that we can transform the past, that we can care for the future, and to be free right in this very moment. Do not look through our lives, do not look at our lives through the lens of the past or the future, or not to be swept away and bossed around by our perceptions, cultivated through past experiences. But we can see the situation as it is in this moment. You see? So that's mindfulness. That it empowers us with trust and diligence, and they empower one another. The last two, the fourth one is concentration. When we use the word concentration, you may think like something like concentrated orange juice or something, but it's not like that. Concentration actually, I love these Chinese characters because they're so visual. Check this out. This is the Chinese character for concentration. The upper article up here, it means a roof. Okay, roof. And down here, again, nhak means oneness. Oneness. And this is the body. This is the arm and two legs. Okay? What's concentration? Under the roof, there is oneness of body and mind. So in Vietnamese, the definition for concentration is yên ổn, bất động. It means to be settled, undisturbed. That's the opposite state of being that most of us experience. That is, we feel distracted, we're always disturbed, and we're always scattered everywhere. You turn on your laptop, and so many things pop up. You look at this, you look at that, you look at this. Before you know it, 3 hours have passed, and you haven't gotten anything you meant to do, right? That is a state of distraction. Scattered mind, disturbed mind. That's the opposite of concentration. Bringing body and mind together under one roof. That's concentration. So when we learn to be aware of one moment, and then the next 5 moments, we're like aware of something external, but not being in touch with our body and mind, we bring it back. Just beats of mindfulness here and there. And as we practice more diligently, we become more aware. It's more sustainable. It's more consistent. We have concentration, a state of mind that is calm, settled, and spacious. And you know what? It's innate in us as well. Have you heard about the left brain and the right brain? We have become a left brain society. The left brain operates, its MO is always to analyze, to criticize, to judge, to talk, to use language, to discriminate, to get hung up on details. That's the left brain. We live in that. We thrive in that left brain. But the right brain, the right brain doesn't have boundary. It's spacious. It's quiet. It doesn't use language. It is in oneness with all that is. If you haven't read the book, The Stroke of Insight, written by this neuroanatomist who was very young in her 30s, and she had a stroke that silenced her left brain. And she experienced this spaciousness, this complete silence and ease in her right brain. So actually, when we practice right mindfulness, right diligence, right concentration, we are actually exercising the capacity of our right brain. We learn to live more in our right brain that is not caught by signs, by goals, pursuits, but it is more at ease and free and in oneness with itself and everything around. You see? So concentration, this is an innate capacity we can cultivate more from the practice to strengthen our right brain. Okay? And the different states that I was sharing earlier, the fight or flight state, or the state of shutdown, many of us may experience. It may switch from the state of hyper-arousal to a state of hypo-arousal, back and forth like that. One moment you may feel very anxious. The next moment you may feel very depressed, lethargic, out of energy. But there is this middle state of equilibrium, of balance, that we can also nurture, we can also cultivate. So we don't just let the body do automatically, as the name implies, autonomic nervous system. It is autonomic, but we also can have a say. We can also affect it. Okay? So with the practice, if you are in a hyper-arousal state, for example, you are very anxious, giddy, restless, you are agitated, suspicious, hypervigilant, all of those states. You can calm yourself down. Slow down with your slow walking. One breath, one step. Okay? One breath, one step. Or you can lie down on the ground and breathe on your back. Or you can lie down on your belly and breathe. Or you can talk yourself through it. Calm down. It's okay. Just sit down. Okay? So we can calm ourselves down. Take a cold shower. It can help too. If you are in a hypo-arousal state, a shut down, depressed, lethargic state, you can awaken your body and mind. You can stimulate your body by, massaging your hands. I have some of these that I use. I see that I actually experienced shutdown for so long in my life. It has become like a habit. So, and also then with different illness that I've accumulated over the years. So my body just shuts down, especially after breakfast in the morning, my body. So I learned to use this. A dear friend present in this audience gave this, and you can massage. It's like a roller, and you just roll on your eyebrows, on your face, on your eyes. So I do this every morning when I first wake up, and then massage the head, massage the body. And I've learned to also just put ointment on my hands and my feet and just massage. I used to have I still have such physical pain from Lyme disease, and I just bore that pain. I just endured it, didn't do anything, and just suffer from it. And now I learn to proactively put ointment and massage and just quietly just pray and send love to my body. I tell myself, I love you. I'm so grateful for you. I tell myself that so many times a day. And it is so calming, so soothing. That is what people talk about self-regulating these days, You can calm your nervous system. You can bring trust and safety to your own body, to your own mind. I have this one. It's like an octopus, and you can just scrub your head and you scrub your body, and it's just like it wakes you up. It helps with the blood circulation. But more than anything, you are there to be your own soulmate, to care for yourself. Okay? So these are the things that we can do, that we forget that it is in our power. The last one I would like to go through, after trust, diligence, mindfulness, concentration, is insight. Everything we learn from the practice, all this sharing, that's all insight, actually. Insight about interbeing. How taking care of ourselves is taking care of our loved ones. Is taking care of other living beings, is taking care of Mother Earth. We know that we consume so much, we exploit and destroy the environment, not because we are malicious, but because there's deep suffering from within. That's craving, not feeling that we have enough, not feeling that we are enough. So we consume mindlessly, and it never fills us up. But to be able to be a soulmate to ourselves, we feel, I am enough. I have enough. I don't need to grasp. I don't need to crave. I don't need to hold on to a situation, to a person, to an experience. I can experience something very deeply, and I can also release and let go, because I have trust and safety from deep within. You see? Interbeing. We know that we are enough. We are more than enough. We have that. And for insight, it goes full circle. This character for insight. 2 brooms, a snout, and the heart mind. 2 brooms. To sweep the snout is something protruding on our face, right? From our face, the nose, the mouth. 2 brooms. To sweep what's obvious on the face and what's in the heart, the mind. What are those two brooms that you use to sweep? Mindfulness, yes. Use mindfulness and concentration. Know what it is arising in the moment. What is it? Is it wholesome? Is it beneficial? Or is it causing me self-doubt and despair? Call it by its true name in that moment. Breathe and smile and release it. Sweep it away. So as a practitioner, we learn to be very diligent sweepers. Okay? The thoughts that arise, the feelings that arise, whatever suffering, difficulty that is arising, use mindfulness. Use right diligence and take good care of it right in that moment. Every moment. And we gain this power that we believe in ourselves, that we can change, heal, and transform ourselves. And thus, we trust and we know that we can help others do the same. That we can live a meaningful life, doing our best. Like I shared from the beginning, my own blood brother has never attended one retreat. He's never listened to my whole Dharma talk. But I accept it because he is who he is. But because of my practice, my brother receives love from me, unconditional love and acceptance from me. I know he's still alive. And his life is like this because I have loved him. I have dedicated my life to the practice. So whether he practices formally or not, that's not the question. You see? So if you practice, you will affect change. You will bring about change, directly or indirectly. Whether it's evident, obvious or not, we affect others. So, do your best to be a soulmate to yourself, okay? Be a soulmate. Remember to know and to take good care of yourself, to know that you are enough, that you are whole. Whatever that has happened, whatever that is happening, whatever that will happen, if you can just stay and take care of yourself, you are whole and you are enough. And you make a difference in this life. You have a place in this world. Don't ever doubt it. Bless you, my dear ones.